So which team do you feel like you learned more about here, Moose? I mean, are you more inclined to chase the Chiefs for futures bets? Are you starting to fade the Cowboys? What are you thinking?
So, I mean, one underrated story of the last 3 weeks, while everyone was busy beating up on the Chiefs, is that their defense has really improved. It's improved in like all facets too, especially against the run. You saw it last night. Or yesterday, last afternoon, I should say. You know, they put a cap in Ezekiel Elliott. They didn't let him take over the game. They didn't let Dak run the ball much. This defense has gotten better, and that's a nice spot to be as a Kansas City Chiefs backer, because like this offense. I mean, if the only thing the Chiefs need to fix right now is the offense, that's not bad. I mean, because you do still have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill there to hopefully do that. So, yeah, I'm not like going out of my way to bet the Chiefs. I still think this AFC is wide open, but that is the biggest story out of that game. I still think Dallas is a very solid team. Maybe not as solid as people were thinking they were last week, but the NFC, certainly, like, they deserve to be in the top 4 or 5 teams there. At plus 400, I would take bigger money on like the Packers or maybe even the Rams there, but I think the Chiefs deserve to be like co-favorites right now, because that AFC, again, I mean, I like the Patriots, but the Ravens at plus 600, I'm not backing them. The Titans, I think, are interesting at plus 8, but the Chiefs definitely deserve to be co-favorites right now. This is a team that's like one Mahomes hot stretch away from basically being in top form again. So, I chase this one.
Reid, we were just showing the odds on the screen. These are two of the top 5 odds, favorite odds to win a Super Bowl, obviously, here. So same thing I asked Geoff. Is there one team of these two you felt like you learned a little bit more about from this game yesterday?
Yeah. The defense, for Kansas City is looked good in spots, right? But the one thing that you have to worry about, though, is how much of it is actually the foundational change in their defense, right? Spagnuolo is still a guy who will send 80,000 blitzes every single game, and that puts him in really, really bad spots. And if you had a guy like Daniel Sorensen, who's one of the worst in coverage, that's going to hurt. And again, going back to this division and going back to the Raiders, when you can look really good against a Raiders offense when they can't stretch the field and their best deep ball is Darren Waller. But going back to this question specifically, like, I'm less inclined to be down on the Dallas Cowboys, because I do think they do have the foundational pieces. Their offensive line is finally healthy. Chris Jones, I think if there's any storyline too here, is that Chris Jones on the defensive side was actually going back into the nose tackle position, and he absolutely wrecked this game, right? Dak Prescott, I almost said Derek Prescott. Dak Prescott was under pressure all day long. He couldn't do anything. And when you have CeeDee Lamb go out, when Amari Cooper is already out, when Ezekiel Elliott was banged up, you got Dalton Schultz, Cedric Wilson, and Michael Gallup as your offensive threats. It's not going to cut it, right? It's not going to cut it against the Chiefs. Any defense will look good against those guys, especially if you don't practice as number ones. So I'm less down on the Cowboys, more up on the Chiefs, because like Geoff mentioned, they can get it going very quickly. They have a really good coaching staff and obviously a very, very good quarterback. But I'm liking the Dallas Cowboys right now. If they can keep on slipping, they got a decent defense too that can stop a lot of these teams, and they have an offense to stay with anyone.